In this video I'm going to show you exactly how to inspect a used car. Anyone can do this regardless of their experience level. Please have a realistic expectation when looking at a used car. If you are a picky anal bastard, go get a new car payment before you waste your time trying to find a perfect used car. 99.9% of used cars are going to have at least one or more flaws or issues. If you cannot accept that, you will have to pay the price of a new car. Okay, let's begin. Prior to seeing the car, start with checking the VIN number. Carfax is very popular and does a very in-depth record search, however it is expensive as hell, and I've experienced multiple false odometer reportings and accidents that didn't happen. I recommend using VehicleHistory.com, it's free, with no attempted upsells, and checks the main important things such as accident records, odometer discrepancies, and sales records. If there's an accident reported, don't get scared off yet. Thousands of vehicles get small fender benders and are repaired well and are still excellent vehicles. If there has been a serious accident, consider finding a different vehicle. If there's odometer issues, you probably want to stay away. If it's a rebuild or salvage title, the vehicle is worth less than if it were a clean title. Also be aware it can be harder to insure and resell in the future. Before looking at the car, look at the seller. Do they look like a nice clean person or a dirty bastard? Look at the license plate. Do you see a dealer tag? Understand dealers and car flippers typically sell junk they got for cheap at auction, and they won't think twice about selling you a trash car. It's very rare for a used car dealer or flipper to actually sell a quality car at a fair price. Next, take a good detailed look at the entire exterior of the vehicle. Will you feel comfortable being seen driving it? Or is it hideous and you'll be embarrassed to have anyone see you get in or out of it? Look for mismatched colors or overspray indicating the car has been painted. The body panels will line up evenly unless it's been damaged before. Look for dents, dings, and scratches. Body repair is very expensive, and if you aren't willing to pay hundreds if not thousands to get the car looking the way you want it, end your inspection now and don't buy it. Check the interior. Are the seats in good condition or horrible condition? Does it smell good inside, or does it smell like ass? Check the dash for cracks or warpage that would imply the airbags were deployed. Check for any water lines indicating flood damage. If you live in a state where flooding has happened anytime recently, look under the seats for rust or wetness that would only be there if it had been in water in the past. Here's a pro tip: stay the hell away from any kind of flood-damaged vehicles. The headliner should be in place nicely and not saggy like an elderly woman's bosom. Headliner can cost anywhere from $300 to over $1,000 to replace. Make sure door panels aren't loose and falling apart. Don't forget to check the tires. If there's not much tread left or they have dry rot cracks, you'll need new tires. If the car looks good enough for you, move on to the mechanical portion of the inspection. Pop the hood, then get back under the vehicle and look for any signs of leaks. Oil leaks, big or small, can easily cost a fortune to fix and cause other problems. If the motor is caked in oil and dirt, there is an oil leak. Coolant leaks can cause catastrophic engine failures. Brake fluid leaks can cause serious danger and accidents. Many used cars have some form of leak, so factor in repair costs if you find any leaks. Next, look at the top of the engine. Is it relatively clean? Or is there leaves, nuts, rat poop, and more all over? Some dust and debris is normal. Look around the valve covers for signs of oil leaks. The valve covers are typically the most common oil leak area. Next, check the engine oil dipstick. Take the dipstick out and wipe off the oil with a rag or napkin, then reinsert the dipstick all the way before removing it again. The oil should be anywhere between the minimum and maximum lines on the dipstick. If it is lower than minimum, assume the car leaks or burns oil. If it's above maximum, assume the car leaks or burns oil, and the owner overfilled the car with oil like a dummy. If the dipstick is bone dry, do not buy the car, as low oil can cause wear and tear inside the engine. Look at the color of the oil. It should not be black unless it is a diesel engine or the owner hasn't changed the oil in a long time. Ideally, you'd like to see nice clean oil indicating on-time oil changes. If you see a weird bubbly chocolate milkshake looking substance on the dipstick, do not buy the car, as this implies coolant and oil have mixed, commonly due to head gasket failure. Next, remove the oil cap and look under it. There should be no gross milkshake substance there either. Unless you like paying for engine replacements, stay away from head gasket issue vehicles. If the car has a transmission dipstick, pull it out and check the level as well as the condition of the fluid. Typically, transmission fluid is a clean red color. It should be somewhere between the minimum and maximum level and should not smell burnt or look dirty. Check the levels of the brake fluid and power steering fluid as well. Never remove the radiator or coolant reservoir cap when the engine is still hot. If you do, you may be scolded by incredibly hot antifreeze. Ouch! If the engine is cooled off and you are positive there's no pressure within the cooling system, check the condition and quantity of the coolant. If the coolant looks like yucky poop milkshake, don't buy. Google if the vehicle has a timing belt. If it has a timing belt, ask if it has been replaced. Typically, timing belts need to be replaced every 80,000 to 100,000 miles. If a timing belt breaks while driving, the engine could get destroyed. Timing belts are usually a costly repair, so if possible, see if there's a service record showing it has been replaced. If there's no service record, sometimes there will be a sticker somewhere in the engine bay, or even on the underside of the hood, that says what date and mileage the belt was replaced at. Depending on the vehicle, it may be very quick and easy to take a peek at the timing belt. If it's old, it will show stress cracks. Again, know your experience level and don't try to learn something new on someone else's car. If the timing belt hasn't been replaced and the car is near 100,000 miles or 10 years old or older, the timing belt will need to be replaced soon. Always try to see a vehicle when the engine is cold and not warmed up to operating temperature. There are many alarming sounds that can be present during a cold start that go away once the motor is warm. If there are any rattling, pinging, or knocking sounds when you first start a vehicle, consider this a red flag, as there may be very expensive issues such as a stretched timing chain or failing tensioner. In most cases, I recommend not buying any vehicle with an engine making ticking, rattling, pinging, knocking, or dying cat sounds. Proceed only if the engine sounds and looks smooth. There should not be any considerable amount of smoke coming from the muffler. If there is, the vehicle may be burning oil or coolant. Next, check your instrument cluster for any illuminated lights such as a check engine light, airbag light, ABS light, transmission fault light, or any others. Any of these dash lights can cost quite a bit to have fixed. You can use any OBD2 scan tool to scan check engine codes. However, most cheaper scanners do not check any other fault codes except the engine ones. So if there are any other dash lights beside the check engine light, most likely you will not be able to check them. Know your experience level and never expect a cheap fix. Take the vehicle for a drive. As you're driving, listen for any abnormal noises. Any clunking, popping, or other loud noises while going over bumps indicate suspension issues. The brakes should operate without shaking the car or the steering wheel. If there is shaking or pulsating when braking, assume the rotors are warped or a brake caliper has an issue. Make sure you get the vehicle up to highway speed, at least 50 to 60 miles per hour. With that said, don't be the asswipe who takes the car on a 30-minute highway drive and burns up all the gas. While getting up to speed, there should not be any humming or grinding like sounds. That would usually indicate a wheel hub bearing or brake dust shield issue. The transmission should operate smoothly without any hard thuds or slippage. The car should stay relatively straight when taking your hands off the steering wheel on a straight road. If it pulls to the side, the alignment may be off. Once the engine is up to operating temperature, I recommend that you floor the car for a brief period of time when it is safe to do so. Sometimes scumbags will reset the check engine light before you see the car by putting a strain on the engine. If there are any immediate issues, the check engine light will usually appear. If the vehicle owner is present during your test drive, be courteous and ask if it's okay to give the vehicle some gas to make sure it accelerates like it should. If the owner says no, take it as a red flag that they're scared the engine will blow because it's trash. Make sure you see the odometer going up as you drive. Some odometers don't work and you want to make sure the miles are actual. While you're at it, look in the corner of the windshield for any oil change stickers. If you see a sticker, make sure the mileage on the sticker matches what you see on the odometer. I have caught many scumbags with rolled back odometers by noticing the oil change sticker mileage being tens of thousands of miles higher than what the odometer was showing. When you get back from the test drive, leave the car running and make sure the AC is working well, along with the heat. Test everything the car is equipped with, including the radio, power windows, power seats, sunroof, trunk button, gas cap button, all lights and blinkers, wipers, and anything else you see fit. It's also worth rolling all windows down and going around to each door to make sure they open from both inside and outside. Check the temperature gauge and make sure the car isn't overheating. Once you turn the car off, test all buttons on the key fob. Check to make sure all door locks function properly. Any issues you may have found will cost more than you'd like to repair. Honestly, you could double or even triple your estimated repair costs, and that would give you a more accurate idea of how much you can expect to invest in fixing up the vehicle. Do not impulse buy. Take every imperfection and problem, big or small, into consideration before thinking about making an offer or buying. If you are on the fence about buying, and many others are interested in the vehicle, do not feel pressured or rushed to make a decision. You can always return the key and tell the seller to stick it where the sun don't shine if they are selling junk. I hope this was helpful, and I encourage you to watch my other video on how to value a used car. Thanks for watching.